We had to ask ourselves after the accident, is it worth it?
What got you interested in space and allowing private citizens to travel to space to begin with?
A long time ago, just as perestroika was happening in Russia, I got a telephone call and I was told that President Gorbachev was on the phone, who was president of Russia at the time, and he invited me to go up on a Russian spaceship, not for free, for something like $40 or $50 million, but nobody else had ever been, no private citizen had ever been to space, and I might have been able to just about pull that money together, but I felt it would be perceived as being a waste of money for one individual to go to space, and I felt that I could put that money to better use. So I said no. But it did get me thinking, and that was, why not spend that kind of money building our own space line one day? And I didn't do it right away. I waited to see whether the American government or the Chinese government or the Russian government, whether they would be interested in putting you or me or people watching this program into space. And it soon became apparent they had no interest in that whatsoever. And so in the 1990s, I registered the name Virgin Galactic Airways. I'm an optimist, so I also registered the name Virgin Intergalactic Airways. And we went out looking for a genius who could build a spaceship for us, and we were lucky enough to come across Burt Rutar, who was that genius and is that genius, and he got building a spaceship for us, and it's taken 10 years to get to where we are today. We are literally months away, I think, from the space line beginning operations, and we're months away from myself and and my grown-up kids going into space, and then we're months away from the sort of 750 people who've signed up, starting to go into space. So it's tremendously exciting.
Explain the significance of winning your first military contract.
We have Virgin Galactic, which is putting people into space. We also have Virgin Orbit,
right,
which is putting satellites into space, and Virgin Orbit has won quite a number of contracts recently, including Department of Defense contracts from the American government. And the exciting thing about that is it shows a faith in what the team at Virgin Orbit and Virgin Galactic are doing, to have such a reputable organization actually make an order from us.
What role do you see space playing in Earth's future?
I mean, space has already transformed how we do everything back here on Earth. So, whether it's your mobile phone or whether it's your iPad or all the way we communicate with each other, space is most likely playing a part in that. What we see Virgin Galactic as and Virgin Orbit as is a means to try to improve things back here on Earth. So there's 4 billion people who are not connected. If you're not connected, it's unlikely you're going to be able to start a business. It's difficult to get proper education for your children, health information. There's a whole lot of things that are going to hold you back. So one of the things that we're working on is a wonderful company called OneWeb that we're involved in, to put a massive array of satellites around the Earth, maybe as many as 2,000 or 3,000 satellites, to connect those 4 billion people who are not connected. And that's one of the sort of prime purposes of our spaceship company. Another area is point-to-point travel. When Concorde disappeared many years ago, it was the first time really that a breakthrough technology had just gone backwards. I mean, we don't have supersonic air travel anymore. Virgin Galactic is going to be one of the companies that are going to be there pushing supersonic air travel and creating supersonic air travel, and we'll be working with partners like Boom and others to bring that to the world again, and that's tremendously exciting.
How do you balance the desire to pursue extraordinary achievement with the inherent risk associated with that?
Test pilots are incredibly brave. You know, we had the incredibly unfortunate incident, which where a test pilot did lose their life, and where the program was set back, by nearly three years. But by pushing themselves to the limit, that particular incident will never happen again, and the program will be that much more inherently safe by the time we actually finally get passengers to fly. We had to ask ourselves after the accident, is it worth it? We asked the 750 people who'd signed up to go to space, did they feel we should push on? Almost with one voice, they said we should. We asked the 700 engineers that work for us, did they want to push on? With one voice, they said they did. And I think, most of the public, wanted us to push on. And, so we actually, took all the business in-house. We're using another company's test pilots. We're using another company to build the spaceship. Now, everything is in-house. We've got our own test pilots. We've got our own engineers. And we feel it's extremely unlikely that we'll have a repeat of what happened. But you can never be sure when you're going through a test program.
Safety obviously is so important to you. When your train company had a crash many years ago that was solely the fault of the track, had nothing to do with the train company. So what's it like for you getting a call like that when there's been loss of life?
The moment I knew that the train had come off the tracks, I knew that the first thing you've got to do as an owner of a company, whether it's your fault or not, is just get to the scene of the accident, and that's what I did. I drove through the night. I think that anybody who runs a company, if there's a bad incident, the critical thing is, confront it head on, and anybody who's affected by it, make sure that you're there to comfort them.